Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Not the new HNL season. The new season is upon us because the start has been delayed by 3 weeks. Was it or two
Um,
weeks? I think it's
it
two
must be.
weeks.
Yeah, it's two. There's some seasons
Yeah,
started. I mean,
yeah.
Europe started for a
Europe
lot
has
of
started.
nations.
Yeah,
Serbia and Slovenia have started.
yeah.
Um,
It's very odd to see those leagues start, and I'm like, where's the HNL?
I think maybe they just expected that he'd be busy in the Euros final, and just
uh,
like, well, we can't go from 1 week that and the next week
yeah.
that. No, didn't work like that.
Yeah, no, we've had a lot of time off. Everybody's back. The teams are ready. Well, 3 teams are ready to start their seasons in 2 days' time. So,
hmm
so we are recording this on a Tuesday. On Thursday, we have Osijek, Rijeka, and Hajduk playing, obviously, in the second round of the qualifying for the conference and the Europa League. So,
Yeah,
the final season preview won't be this time. It will be next week before the league starts on Friday with Dinamo Istra. So, I mean, Richard, we're back, and some big news have happened in the past 3 weeks. We've been off.
yeah. Um, I mean, it's not really kicked into gear. I think the transfers
Yeah,
yet because the big ones that were all like, okay, we knew Piazza was going to move. That's fine. That happened really quickly. Um, we know Hajduk have. Well, I mean, we'll talk about Hajduk. We know Hajduk have been, they've been pursuing an interesting policy. Let's say,
yep,
but there's a lot of dominoes to fall in terms of Nieres, um, in terms of resolution for Bruno Petkovic, and a few other deals that are going to knock things on quite a bit
yeah,
as we go.
yeah. Petkovic has been linked with a lot of teams, but it seems like he just wanted a lot of money.
Fair play.
Some would say too
I,
much.
I, I, I hear Al Shabab have a bit of spare coin now.
They do. They have a lot of spare coin. But should we get with the main story as of now, which happened
Yeah,
2 days ago now? Rakitic has been announced that Hajduk got a very big welcome by the fans, and yeah, he's gonna be playing for 600k a year, which some of it is gonna be, well, most of it is gonna be covered by the sponsor Tommy, and Hajduk is gonna give him bonuses if we, I think, win the league or get into Europe.
yeah. I mean, Hajduk have pursued. I think everyone has done it. I think the best comparison I've seen is I can't remember who. Probably more than one person has said this. Is that it's like when you are quite new to playing Football Manager, and you're 1 or 2 seasons in, and you start seeing these 34, 35-year-old contracts coming up, and you're like, "Ooh, I'm going to sort my free agents by reputation, and I'm just
World
going to try and sign the
reputation.
top
Yep.
ones." Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just going to try and sign the top ones, and that appears to be their policy. Perisic, Rakitic, Dzeko.
Yeah, big question mark. But
Yeah,
and Nasri has come into Fenerbahce, so maybe if they get another striker, I think then Mourinho would maybe be willing to let him go.
mhm, yeah. But I mean, I see it's an interesting policy. I'll give them
It
that.
is.
I think the problem is if they're not 100% up to speed. And I mean, I think it's fair to say, I think maybe with the jury's not completely in on Perisic quite yet. He's shown flashes of class and was fine at the Euros, but over a full season, that's a
Yeah,
question mark
we'll see
still a
him.
little bit for Rakitic. Obviously he's been out in Saudi, and we saw all Euros long how players seem to have taken quite a steep decline.
Except
Uh,
N'Golo Kante.
except Conte, yes, for that. So, again, what sort of Rakitic are they getting? You've got Lavia, who, okay, he's much younger than those two, but still he's he's got a lot of miles on the clock in terms of the amount of games he's played, and in terms of the amount of responsibility he's carried upon him, and in terms of also sort of seeing these little injuries that carry a little bit longer, seemingly each season on season. And obviously, if Jacko comes in, that's you're sticking a 38-year-old up front, and it sort of feels like Hajduk have decided that they're almost like a t-shirt company with a football club attached to it, because it's going to sell a lot of shirts.
Yeah, it is. I already ordered a Rakitic shirt, which I mean, don't be surprised. Honestly, do not. But what was
they still out of the number 4? I looked at getting a Perisic shirt, and they went on and it was like, we're actually sold out of the number 4. Don't ask for the number 4.
I think they have it now because because Adidas now seemingly has way more supply than Macron, because the shirts haven't even sold out, because with Perisic the website immediately broke down. You couldn't get any shirts for like a month, but now it's still open. You can get any shirt from what I saw. But to get back into the transfer business, it's mostly, I think, just because Kalinic just has his contacts. The scouting department is in chaos, to say the least. I don't know if you saw, but when Hajduk played Shakhtar, Gattuso went on a dinner with Dario Srna, and he asked them quite literally up front, can you give us your database so we can see what players there are that we could maybe sign? Because it looks like Hajduk's scouting department has just, especially with Kalinic has zero. He's quite literally just hung up his boots. He has zero experience in scouting. So he literally just has his contacts, which, to be fair to him, you get Rakitic and you get Gattuso in. Not that bad. You also get Sangyang Bamba in, which we'll see how he does.
Yeah, but it's not working smarter, is it?
No, it's not. It's just working with what you have.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, you get by with what you do, but yeah, it's an interesting policy. I mean,
it's not the best. It works. It's not the best, but it's way more than I expected from Kalinic. I honestly, in April and May, I was just expecting whatever happens.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the problem I have is that ultimately you've got to pay for these people, but to do so, you're going to have to sell someone, and that's someone
nobody.
Pukstas.
Nobody has been sold yet.
Yeah, no one seems to have really gone in for Pukstas.
Yeah,
yet.
There's a lot of interest for him, but no offers from what I know.
No, and I mean, while he'd be ideal alongside Rakitic to do the running, to be the engine room. I mean, I think if he's not there, then you have to act pretty quickly, and like I say,
very quickly.
Chaos, well, maybe not chaos, but if there's a lack of direction from a recruitment perspective, then that's troubling.
Yeah, it is very because Rakitic is not gonna run like he did in Barcelona, for example.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the Rakitic is or the Perisic is or them. It's not.
It's gonna be a very similar role to which he had in Sevilla, where he just the players need to do the running for him because he's on the old side.
Yeah, I mean this is it. You need to be just using as an example. You're picking like the Benrahouz out in terms of that sort of age profile, mid-20s, that sort of club profile in terms of you bringing them up and giving them a chance from maybe lower league French football, lower league Swiss football, something like that.
Yeah.
And someone you can actually make money from in 18, 24 months.
Yeah.
Now, that's something Hajduk have not been very good at because, using Benrahouz as an example, he's been brought in, he's basically been told he can go. Like,
for free.
For free, yeah. And he is a good player. No, okay, he doesn't necessarily fit anymore, but that's the sort of profile that Hajduk should be looking to bring in, use for 18 months, make money off, and to attempt to build a squad around. And if you then have your, big name key pieces in there, that's great. But you can't. I think this is going to be the real problem Hajduk will have this season, is that you can't have you can't just have pushed all your chips onto 35-year-olds.
Yeah, I don't think Gattuso is gonna allow to have that many old players on the pitch. Rakitic is probably gonna be very eased in to just see on what level is he. I think Gattuso is he has said that age doesn't matter to him. If somebody can play, he'll play.
Mm.
So
It's
I
just
think they'll
normally at
set.
Hajduk, it's the other end of the career that's said about.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll see what happens because there is a few good youngsters coming in because obviously we had Luka Jurak at the end of
Mhm.
last season making some good performances in the last what like 5 games. So we'll probably see him more, especially now in the first 2 games. And
Mhm.
Bruno Durdo has obviously, I think, been the standout of the
Yeah,
preseason
and
for Hajduk.
did I see Pirpic has signed till
A new
27? Was it?
contract, yeah, a new
Yeah,
contract,
so
yeah,
that's a positive depending on what the plans are. And obviously, Magic Sausage is there, and I love Magic
yeah,
Sausage.
yeah. You do. He might. I expect those youngsters to make a lot of minutes, especially against Torshavn because they were the standout players in the preseason. All of them. Roko Brajkovic, Sosic even scored a few goals. Durdav especially. You know those young players have stepped up in the preseason, but it's only preseason, so
Yeah, well, I suppose that would be said. It's only a team from the fair rooms.
yeah, yeah. But in Hajduk's case, anything is tough.
Yes, yes.
Do not count out the Pharaohs or the Maltese teams, please,
No, no,
or
no,
even
no,
a
no.
pub team.
Well, I mean, yes, Bruno's Magpies are still about, aren't they?
Yep. Who are they playing? They're playing.
Oh, I,
Is it like
I'm
Besiktas?
tempted to
It's a
say
it's a it's a big
yes.
club.
It is a big club, and I want to say Midtjylland,
Oh,
but that might just
Copenhagen.
be
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, it's Copenhagen.
some
Yeah.
other Diddy club has Midtjylland.
Isn't that
Um,
Florita from San Marino?
it might
Could be.
yes, it's the side
Yeah,
that
it
got
is.
through that
Yeah, on
got
penalties.
5 past. Yes,
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Is there anything else to be said about Hajduk? They need defensive midfielder immediately because Sigur isn't that good physically.
Mhm.
Japper is still, he's gonna be injured until like December probably. So you need
Yeah.
somebody to fill in the spot, and God knows in what shape Japper will come back in because it's a
Mhm.
very big injury he had again. Two very big injuries back to back, which not good, obviously. So you need a very good defensive midfielder to cover for Krovinovic, Rakitic, Sigur if you play him a bit further up in the midfield, and Pukstas if he stays for like another month. I don't see him
Mhm.
getting him more than a month. I hope so, at least for Haidu, because if it gets to the end of August, our club can buy him for very cheap.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one of those, and this is sort of the problem that every club has when you come into this time of the season is that you don't know when to make your move,
Yeah,
because there's so many who are relying on seeing, okay, actually, we're in a group stage, we can spend. Da-da. It's almost as if they've got. I mean, from the stands of it, it doesn't sound like Hajduk have much of a list of targets set up, but you almost are running two separate lists of targets for a transfer
yeah,
window, depending on how you're ending up from a European perspective, which it's annoying, but it is actually easy enough to work from, like using Y Scout and stuff like that, using the shadow teams, and you can sort of keep track on, a few
everybody. Yeah.
different options. But you want to be making that contact early. You don't want to be rushing that contact.
No, Hajduk has obviously been linked with Neverton from Shakhtar to get him on loan.
Mhm.
I think Cerna has obviously pulled some strings to get him to get there, and it looks like the player is willing. But I mean, we'll see because there has been zero improvement in that case. Yesterday, some Azerbaijani media has said that Renat Dadashov has been linked with Hajduk, another striker. So
Mhm.
if you can get Jekwin, get another very tall striker in. Dadashov is. Let me check how tall. I know he's tall. Just how much? 188 centimeters.
So 6'3", an old bunny, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Fairly tall.
6'2", 6'2", yeah.
Uh,
So I mean, we'll see. He's playing for Grasshoppers now. He's played 30 games for Azerbaijan, so I mean, he has something to him.
well, I mean,
That
I think both playing for Azerbaijan and playing for Grasshopper doesn't really take much at this present
no,
time. But yeah, I mean, this is it's been a problem since forever for Hajduk in terms of actually having someone who isn't called Marco Levaya playing up front,
yeah,
and an option for when he's injured. So
yeah, and especially after
may as well
Gattuso
roll
said
the
that.
dice.
Yeah, especially after Gattuso said that he wants to play him as a 10 in a 4-2-3-1. So
Mhm.
I don't know if we'll see Levaya. Levaya has played striker for I think every game in the preseason, unless you play Mata Antunovic or who can play. I don't know who else can play striker at Hajduk. So you can play Mata Antunovic up front, who obviously was very good at youth level, but hasn't really done anything at senior level because he hasn't had a chance to even show it. So yeah, we'll see. Should we move on to some other team, Osijek Rijeka, because they're obviously playing?
Yes, yeah. Well, that
What would
Osijek.
you pick? Osijek. Okay.
Osijek. Yeah, I like them. Just generally, but I like what I've seen of Copatelli
Yep.
as a coach. I've watched quite a bit of his sort of youth football in Italy, and he plays a nice style of football.
He really does. Yeah. Very
So
beautiful.
that's one real positive. Now, obviously, from taking a step up from youth coaching to senior coaching, there's I don't want to say necessarily difficulty involved, but there's a personality
Yeah.
involved. There are coaches who are absolutely exceptional from a youth perspective, but when they move up to doing it for senior football, they just don't necessarily have the I don't want to say the mental capacity because that sounds wrong, but they don't necessarily have the
to deal with the senior players.
Yeah, not only to deal with the senior players, but also to deal with the additional responsibilities. You've got the media.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, there's a wider range of recruitment and a wider range in terms of also how you are dealing with and how much time you have with your players as well, because of the amount of commitments that they will have to one side because of just the more transient nature of senior football compared to academy football. And it not everyone takes to it. It's not necessarily a positive or a negative on a coach, whether they do take to it or not. But I mean, I'm encouraged. I think that's probably the key is that from his tactical skills, from his strategic skills, from this type of football he wants to play, all of those are a positive thing. It's just whether he's going to get found out in a game.
Yeah,
whether he's got that ability to react, because you don't have to do that as much at youth football because the pressure isn't as great. Whether he got lucky a little bit in the season that they won the Primavera, didn't they?
they did.
That season, because the follow-up season was, from a results perspective, quite disappointing. So was it just a case that
one season wonder? Yeah.
So there's a few doubts around there, but it comes into I don't want to say necessarily an unstable club, because I think we've both been impressed with Jose Boto, but obviously there's been a lot of BS around Osijek since the spring. In terms of the incident with Boto's car, there's I've forgotten the name of the guy who came over from Watford for the recruitment, and did he get attacked?
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, I forgot his name too, but he did get attacked. Yeah,
it's Jamie something, and I've forgotten his surname. And if he's watching, soz. But I think also from their characters, they're just like, right, okay, well that's happened. We're going to just carry on and get on with doing the job well. And I don't think there's anyone who is looking at the players they've brought in and like thinking they're bad or there's nothing wrong with any of their business yet this summer.
No, I've liked every transfer so far.
Mhm. Yeah, I think maybe they've paid a little over the odds for Luka Jelenic, but I mean, it's splitting hairs. I like
Yeah,
Kawal, who's coming from AZ. And he's again, so it was only video at youth level to go off really for him, but that's seems to me to be a very promising young player. Kemal Ademi is, if you get him right, then he will score for fun at this level because he's done it at a higher level before.
yeah,
And obviously, although it was long trail javeliner, is a brilliant goalkeeper.
yeah.
and
No,
there's no one,
absolutely.
and there's no one they've lost yet that
Yeah, very
you
very
would be
big yet.
concerned about. Yeah,
Very
there's a
big
very big
yet
yet.
because if Miras goes, that whole team just looks different, no matter what.
But again, so the discussions that seem to have been had at the moment is more about Miras extending rather
Yeah,
than Osijek selling, and that's very promising for them.
yeah, because every day, every hour that goes by, and Miras doesn't have an offer on the table that he wants or that Osijek wants, the bigger the chances of him extending gets.
Mhm.
Because I don't think he wants to go on a free. Not him actually, but I don't think Osijek wants to let him go on a free, and I don't think just he does, because if he has another season like he did like what 2 seasons ago where he scored 3 goals or something, like a very low number after that very big season, and you go on a free, some clubs may not want to pick you up, especially after the season you've just had.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean you've got to have a big walk here,
Yeah,
particularly as he's. I mean, going to sound silly saying this, particularly as he's now not the youngest.
yeah,
His earning potential is at a top club 2-3 years now.
yeah.
We'd be 28 by the time.
No, Richard has gone. Let's give him a second to come back. Richard.
Yeah, something broke then, didn't it?
Yep. You're back now.
I am back. Yes. I mean, I wasn't really aware I was gone. I was just carrying on talking about Mieres being 28 at the end of this season, and it's an important one for him. Just edit that out.
Yeah. I was now that's I had I think prepared, but that has now sidetracked me. Let me try to return to where I was. What was I gonna say? I think he probably likes what Boto is doing, so that obviously adds a big plus to him staying, especially with the players he's brought in. So if they have if they have a good start to the season, that can also be a very big plus for him to sign a new contract.
They'll be sat there saying, "We're building this team around you. Give us a season."
Yeah. See where it goes.
Yeah.
And Petar Pusic has been very good in the preseason. I've had one game against Ruk Liv. 2 assists and 1 goal. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much to take from that, and particularly, I think the Ukrainian sides seem a bit weaker this season.
Probably. I mean, it takes a
they've
toll.
got an excuse, but
it takes a toll.
yeah. I mean, when looking at the lineups and sort of seeing, for tonight for Partizan Kiev, you're looking at the Kiev side, Kiev, and you're like, oh, okay, you're all pretty much all Ukrainian, and obviously you got Policia against Olympia on Thursday, and like, oh, okay, actually Olympia are probably favourites for that tie. I think probably we're still a little bit in the 2021 phase of thinking Ukrainian sides are still good and have access to some really good players. I think now we're starting to actually see, probably this is the first season where it looks like it's actually visibly taking its toll on paper.
Yeah. And Osijek is facing Levadia Tallinn, right? That's how you say it?
Yes. And
I hope so.
They're going to spank them.
You would hope so. We hope, again, is it Kiziljar?
I mean, having watched see Flora against Cellier, man, they were bad. They were so bad. They could not. The keeper. I mean, I watched the first leg in full, and bear in mind, Cellier won 5-0. The keeper had a brilliant game. He was just exposed completely.
Yeah.
It was so bad defensively.
Just chance after chance. Yeah, I can imagine.
Unless Lavardia are, massively better, they will not stand a chance against Osijek.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't remember who they got in the. Okay, yes, we're looking forward to the third round already, but in the third round they've got who?
So let me pull it up. I'll try my best to get it as quickly up as possible. I need to scroll a bit, so forgive me. So Osijek will play the winner of, well, if they beat Zire
Gira
from Azerbaijan and Dak from Slovakia.
Which again, those doable.
Yeah, very doable.
Definitely.
And I think all three sides have a very good path to the playoff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't mention Hajduk, so after we mentioned that they got.
So we mentioned Torshavn. Yeah, Torshavn.
And they will have, well, let's be honest, it's very, very likely they will have Trabzonspor.
No, you think Ružomberok is gonna beat Trabzonspor?
No. Sorry, is it loser going into that?
Yeah, it's the loser. Yeah.
Yeah, cut that out
because they're because they're. I even commented yesterday. I think on your post because I think I commented because you said the same thing yesterday on Twitter.
Yes.
I commented. Let me find the tweet because I commented.
Sorry, I didn't realize this. This is the thing with both with the draws because you see everyone for these rounds. You see everyone.
Yeah.
It's order versus order, and you look at it. I'm still in the mindset of thinking, right? That means winner goes to
winner.
Not loser goes to the. I'm realizing it's coming from a whole.
Europa League. They're playing in the Europa League. Yeah.
Yeah, particularly because we have the other paths. I mean, as I sort of indicated at the start, I've been up walking a dog at 5 a.m. every day for the past 4 months.
Yeah, so you
I
can
am
forgive Richard.
A little bit on autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the insight from this end, just ignore. Copatelli, jobber.
Mira is absolute shit player. Forget about him. So yeah, I mean, Ružomberok, I think that's very winnable for Hajduk. So, but obviously you're not gonna be seeded. Neither is Osijek gonna be seeded if they get through to the playoffs. So you just gotta pray and hope that you don't get a Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, it's also at the point where they do the draw after this round.
Yeah.
So
before the third round.
Just before the third round. So there is, I mean, again, I don't have a table to hand, but there is a possibility if certain sides go one way and it falls nicely that they can end up seeded. I don't know how far, how many they need ahead of them to fall out.
I think you need like 9 clubs to fall
out.
That's
probably not going to happen.
No, it's not. You have a higher chance of I think you have a higher chance of Šibenik winning the league.
That is quite low.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think every club, we haven't mentioned Rijeka at all. Should we move on onto the Sopic side?
Yes, and Corvinal Hunedoara.
Yeah, the second tier side from Romania, who are not in the first tier just because they're owned by a private business or private. They're just a private club, essentially.
Oh, right.
And Romania has a rule where, private owned clubs cannot play in the first division.
Well, that's a stupid rule.
Yeah. So they won the cup last year as the second tier side, and they beat Paxi 4-0. And now they're playing Rijeka, which will not be easy at all, I think.
No, you tend to assume Bakshi are decent, at least. Much as the Hungarian sides tend to be in Europe.
Yeah,
Obviously, like I said, they got taken to the woodshed in the first leg, but then won the second 2-0. I don't know
but
necessarily the strength of the side that was put out by Corvinal, how which one's representative or not, but you would immediately look at this and think this is a match Rijeka should be winning.
I mean, every single one of our clubs, so Hajduk and Rijeka, should be winning these ties easily.
Yeah.
Now the question is, will they?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to back up the expectations of getting into the group stage, you need to win that sort of tie.
Yeah,
Rijeka's bonus is that their third qualifying round I think, it's probably as easy as it could have been.
So they have
Sheriff or Elfsberg.
Yeah, if they
Elfsberg are having a bad season.
Beat them. Yeah,
and Sheriff were pants last year.
Yeah,
a lot of. I think they've had a lot of players go, quite a lot of turnover, and not been able to replace them with what they need to be doing.
Yeah, and if they by any case lose to Corvinul, they will play either Milsami or Hay from Moldova, or Astana, which is most likely Astana in the Conference League.
Again, added bonus for wanting to get through. Again, Astana aren't much. I think.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last season.
We saw that last season, and I think I remember rightly, the Kazakh sides were pretty poor in the first qualifying round. Sarajevo knocked out Aktobe for one. So,
and penalties,
they're two nice,
knocked them out.
Yeah, they're two nice draws, but I think, let's be entirely honest, you want to be not going to Kazakhstan if you can help it, just from playing Thursday, Sunday. So
yeah,
I think for Rijeka, they have a really live chance of reaching at least the Conference League group stage.
A very big chance, and I think they will.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they have lost Piazza, they have lost Labrovic, they've also lost Mitrovic, but that core squad, the starting squad in the last part of the season, has mostly stayed together except for Labrovic and Piazza.
Mm-hmm. And they've been replaced.
Yeah, they've been replaced.
Rukavina is a decent replacement. Posavets is a decent replacement, and obviously brought in Ante Mastorovic as well.
Yeah.
Who, again, if you want a centre back who gets injured quite a bit, but
I mean,
he's very good at high level. Good replacement.
They went for Maricic, but obviously Stra wanted a bit too much cash for him.
Yeah,
which I mean it's reasonable from them. You actually give us some money, but they went with the second best option.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a striker short. Which is what they were most of the time last season. But I assume they have a plan about that, seeing as they let Nico Geisler go off to Radomir.
Yeah, and Sopic has said that he wants a striker, but Obregon, they don't want to sell anybody, obviously, from the strikers, because Obregon was very good in the second half part of the season, so he's probably going to be the starting striker from now.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I think it's fair to say, if you're wanting to challenge for the title again,
it's not enough.
Obregon ain't it. Obregon ain't it.
No. He's a super sub, if all.
Yeah.
But I mean, keeping Fruk is, I think, the best business they've done so far, because I would have expected everybody to be onto Fruk.
Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of the window to go. I mean, I think we do have those Mieres caveats in there a bit, but those sort of draws, quite aside from bringing in money, are also a nice carrot to dangle. If you're for Fruit and you've got, say, Europa League group stage, you're going to stay at Rijeka because your value is going to go up.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to get a better contract in January.
Yeah. So, I mean, every single club should be getting through. I think realistically to the playoffs. Rijeka maybe at least to the Conference League playoff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Osijek probably. Duck is probably the toughest opponent that our three sides have. I think I rate Duck somewhere there with Astana if they do lose. Rijeka if they do lose. But I
But
mean,
it's still very get throughable.
yeah, it is very get throughable, and hopefully we have two sides in Europe. Hopefully more, but I will not be getting my hopes up.
I mean, this is. I mean, it did the with David Parks the coefficient previews for. I think he did 7 countries for him, of which Croatia was one, and the main thing is just Croatian sides can't keep on getting crap draws because that has been what it's seemed to be for so long. I mean, I know you sort of joke about you get to the Conference League playoff and you get Chelsea or Fiorentina or that. Well, that's actually just what Croatia have done.
Yeah,
Villarreal, Lille,
a little last season.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even just last season. It is.
You can even say PAOK. PAOK obviously reached the Conference League quarterfinals last season.
Yeah, although and out of the groups the season before as well.
Yeah,
they've had so many just horrible draws.
Yeah, and hopefully it stops. It needs to stop
because I mean, even just 3 sides through from a coefficient perspective.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That's going to be, what 25 for the is the starting level. I mean, that if you get 3 sides into the A group stage, you're talking about that.
It's not a group stage anymore.
In the top 15,
it's not
getting
an
extra 4 points, which is doable.
Yeah, it's not a group stage anymore. Sadly, we do have the league phase now. Which means actually it doesn't mean more games in the Conference League. It means more games in the Europa League and the Champions League.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I think one of the interesting things about the group stages is quite aside from so we've had the format changes, but also the extra games as well. We're going to see teams who are going to be playing through. It's probably something that UEFA are going to have to tackle. This year that they haven't had to previously, aside from maybe you got a really harsh winter in Ukraine or Russia a few years ago, is you're going to be asking teams in Croatia, in Serbia, in around there to be playing games in January.
Yeah,
playing games when the leagues aren't on. So there's going to be an issue there for maintaining fitness. There's going to be an issue there just organisationally in terms of are these games going to be 100% playable or what sort of surface? I was watching the opening of the Superliga this past weekend, and I mean, Kukarici, their pitch was barely playable, and that's in the middle of July.
Yeah. Our pitches are now playable in winter, but in the summer they're fine.
Yeah, it was just too heavy.
Yeah.
The pitch was that shouldn't be happening now. It's I mean, I'm optimistic.
You're optimistic
for the next month and a half, at least. I mean, let's be honest. The real season ends at the end of the Europa Conference League playoff round for me, and then it's just league football.
Yeah,
for 8 months.
Yeah. Let's hope that's not it. Let's hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hajduk was also very close to getting a Scottish team in the third qualifying round. They had St. Mirren was a possibility, and I think who was it? There was somebody else they also had.
Kilmarnock and St. Mirren were on both in the same group.
Yeah, Kilmarnock. Yeah,
still grouped the draw, and I mean, Hajduk would have probably battered either of those sides.
I would like to hope so.
Yeah, I mean, same as Scott, they would have battered them. Yeah, I mean, we don't need more Croatian Scottish fixtures against each other this year, really, do we?
Yeah, we already have to. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, have we missed? We haven't missed anything. We've covered. I mean, yeah, about
Yeah,
three
I mean,
teams.
the 3 European teams. Yeah, I mean, I think, are there any other transfers?
I mean,
That have
we can
really
go team by
jumped out?
team to cover the transfers so far. Obviously, Dinamo
Well,
have we've already mentioned Dinamo's transfer, Marco Piazza and Chablina. We haven't mentioned Mamae.
yeah, I don't really know how to pronounce that either.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's 2 Mimais, isn't there?
there's 2 of them.
Yes, I'm sure there's 2 Mimais.
Oh, it's
I want to say
Ryan Mamae. Yeah,
Ryan.
yeah, Ferencvaros. Yeah,
Yes, Ryan Mimai is really good. I don't really know much about Sammy.
yeah, yeah.
Torrente is a good get. I do like him coming in. But I think really that's about it in terms of players I have much of an opinion of.
Yeah, I mean, Ivan Filipovic is just there to be a backup, and Chablina is obviously on loan to Osijek already. So
yeah,
those
he's there to be there next year.
Yeah. So I mean, they've sold Marco Soldo, if that means anything. They've also let Boško Šutalo go and Marco Bola to Standard Liège to Leko.
Yes. Yeah. Which, I mean, Bulla, I'm not 100% sure what they're doing with him.
Yeah, same.
In the
It was good.
There was some quite strong links for him to move for decent money earlier this year.
Yeah.
And he's just now gone to Belgium for a bit.
Yeah, because he kind of disappeared in the second part of the season. The first part of the season, he was one of their best players.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, in the second part, went down a bit.
Yeah. So we're not seeing entirely what the plan is for that. And obviously, they let Josip Dimic go, who someone will pick up and he will score goals for them.
I'm surprised Shibari haven't picked him up yet. They have brought in Santini, so, you know.
Yeah, he's not been training with Šibenik, has he, Dimic?
He's with the Patia, the second league side now.
Yes. Who, I mean, I'm sure someone says training with them and like, oh, maybe he's going to sign. He's not going to sign for them.
No, he's not going to sign for Opatia. I mean, it would be a good story for Opatia, but no, sadly no.
I mean, sort of beyond the big 4. I mean, it's not low. I think Lokomotiva have been the main movers in terms of bringing in Grollo and Čujić, obviously from
Karadzic. Getting him back in.
Which, you know, hey, if you're a Rudas player, you just take what you can get after last season.
Karadzic was the only one that can really get a good move, and he has.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they let Bartolec go to Astana. So just like, apparently the only players we talk about Nikola Kalinic's contacts book. Apparently, Lokomotiva are just signing people who played for them previously. And obviously, the big one in terms of Sotacek going to Basel.
For 3 million.
Which is, I mean, it's a good deal. I mean, I will enjoy watching him. I think it's better for him than moving to Dinamo. And his dad certainly thought that too. That's been quite.
Dinamo disagreed. Yeah, and Dinamo disagreed with the dad and has therefore sued him.
Yeah, I think he was quite salty. I was
very
surprised he was so strident about his opinions there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think again they're no worse off, are they? Really? Because we know they'll have there's some child there that'll just bring in
some child.
There's some child, and Income Mayor would be like, yeah, they're going to sell this guy for millions.
Yeah. They've
It's what
also
they do.
let Bobanya go. They've let Kalaitz also go to Astana. They've let Dashmir Alezi go, who came in from Rabotnički, was it, or Vardar?
Robinishki, yeah.
Rabotnički, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He's gone
they
to
let him go
Pristina.
to Pristina, yeah.
Yeah.
And Castrati has obviously gone back to his club, but Castrati did jack all.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm assuming he's probably going to be let go by Fairval.
Probably, most
Yeah.
likely.
Oh, and Maric as well. Did you mention Maric?
No, I didn't.
Omonia.
Yeah, to Ammonia. Yeah, that was a weird move that I saw, and I was like, why? I expected a bigger move for him. Not
It's
big as, but it's a good move.
It's a good get from him. I've not kept track. The last time I did a chat with an Ammonia pod, it was for Montenegrin player that they signed, and literally a week after I was on with them, he did his knee and was out for the year. So I don't believe the same has happened to Maric yet. Glad I've not sort of cursed him that way. But yeah, I mean, it's a good signing for them in terms of it's a good step up. Or a bit of a step up at least for him, and a bit more attention, I suppose.
Yeah.
Rather than being able to get a top domestic move, as it were.
Yeah, but I was a bit of surprised because Maric was obviously the Lokomotiva captain for this season. So seeing him to go to Ammonia was, a bit different.
Nothing wrong with different.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it, but I mean, he'll probably do very good there.
I like Thierry Neves.
Yeah, no, too.
Neves.
Yeah,
but I know obviously
we'll figure it out.
One key thing you're very sad about that, so I will let you.
Oh, Igor Postonski has left Varaždin, and I cannot get over it. I literally cannot get over it. He's gone to Traktor in Iran, who's obviously now being coached by Dragan Skocic, who thankfully left the under-21s role in Croatia. But sadly for me has bought Igor Postonski for like 300,000 euros. Why? Just why? He is quite literally the face of Varaždin for me, and I'm like, he's a very good player, and I had him in my fantasy team for a long time last season, and he fucking paid me back. So you know what? I hate it. I disapprove of this move very much. But yeah, I mean, they brought in Thierry Neves, they brought in Frane Maglica, the right back from Posušje, and they brought in Mladenovski from Škopi, the center back, the very big center back.
Sorry. My Bluetooth has just gone on this, so that is very good. I'm assuming you made some very good points, and I am going to attempt to try and fix things.
All right.
I know they would have been completely about.
We need
Mr. Postonski.
We need some Oliver music.
I'm sad about it because I mean I think it's he drove them forward so much last season, and it's not as if I think there's sort of consistently not necessarily been loads about Varaždin to recommend them, and that is another thing to not recommend them with. I think it's fair to say, and is still not working, so this is very good because I can't lip read. I mean, they've gone and signed some people from Macedonia. Don't know why, because they will not be immediately up to the level.
No, they have a market there.
It was all right last season at Škopi, but Jovanov, who was brought in from Breganica, less so. That is, yeah.
We're having technical issues.
Yeah, my Bluetooth on this is completely gone. I'm going to go mute. And
Fair enough.
for those who want insights, Laura's going to tell you all about Goritza.
Yeah, I will move to Gorica, which there isn't a lot to be said about, except that Josip Mitrovic has left for around 500,000, which I don't know if it's true. I've spoken with a lot of, well, not a lot of, I've spoken with a few insiders. That's not a lot, it's a few. From Fortuna, which have said that Fortuna probably didn't spend that much money. It's probably in bonuses. It's probably not upfront 500k euros. It's probably up in bonuses. So it's still good money because I think those bonuses are very easy to fulfill for Mitrovic, and Mitrovic has done a very good job in preseason for Fortuna. So if you want to watch the Eredivisie, to watch our Croatian players, who's there now? Šutalo, Sosa, Ivanušec. Šutalo will probably move by the looks of it. So probably should have mentioned them. But and who else? And obviously now Mitrovic playing for Fortuna with Alan Halilovic. So hopefully he does something there. The only player they brought in is Martin Slogar and, if I remember his name, Marko Kolar, the striker, the now ex-Dinamo striker. Is Richard gonna be back now? You can unmute. Unmute.
I can unmute, yes.
Yeah,
if in doubt, go get something that's wired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why
this is why.
Being stupid. Yes.
So should I? Yeah. Shall I essentially cover what I just said? Mitrovic has moved to Fortuna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just repeat what I just said. I've spoken with a few Fortuna insiders, which obviously contacted me about Mitrovic, and they've all said that Fortuna probably didn't pay the 500,000 that's being reported up front. It's probably all in bonuses, but probably most of it.
I mean,
because the Fortuna doesn't have a lot of money.
I feel like his contract was up anyway, or was very soon up. So if they've gotten anything, I think they've done very well there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the I'll put up a lot of the coverage of the friendlies. So they've had a couple of Goritza ones on there, and they've looked bad.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think just from looking at the business they've done, you can kind of tell that there's
barely any.
There's barely any. It's people gone out. You know, obviously Misliak gone to India.
Yeah.
Mitrovic, let's say, to Fortuna.
Blumel also. Vojnovic.
Bloom. Yeah. And
the two loans ended with Soldo and Rukavina. So you know that's and you've only brought in like 3 players.
Slogar, yeah, and
Slogar and Kolar.
Yeah. Kolar, not great.
Yeah. Let's just be upfront. Both players are not very good.
Yeah. So that's problematic for them. And I mean, okay, I think they sent Kayo out last season. I mean, he was not good at Radomir.
No.
At all. So they're in trouble.
If they do not get any, but they'll probably make some moves at the end of the transfer window, because that's where the lower sides make the moves.
Well, I mean, we say that, but Istra have done stuff. They
have.
They were very quick in sorting out Yeganyat.
Yeah.
I think we were both quite happy about that. Georgi Gagwa is. I always sort of think, well, look at a player coming in and like, okay, have I at any point tried to sign this player in real life? And yes, I have with Georgi Gagwa. Big striker, quite swift as well. Really nice touch for a big guy, and should do well. At 22, it's a bit of a make or break season for him. But I think he was a player who I would be thinking, by the time he's 25, will be playing in a bigger league.
Probably, if he does well, which I think I'm a fan of him. It's a very nice name, Georgi Gagwa. and they've also brought in Andres Ferro. So we had a Ferro leave Hajduk, and now we have a Ferro joining Istra.
Yeah. Well, Ferrer and Stefan Keller, who they brought in, he's confirmed today. Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Both
Yesterday.
sent to the backs. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday.
So that's kind of sort of them, and I would trust Giovanni to have a good eye for a centre back, just from having watched his sides play enough. So I'm quite hopeful for them. I mean, I think
they've lost obviously Ekong and Avetak to the loans.
Mm-hmm.
The loans ended. Nebula has left, but he obviously wasn't even there last season. Huiber got sold to Vele, and Frano Mlinar and Majstorovic obviously left the club.
Yeah,
after their contracts expired.
They're not really worse off. Maybe slightly worse off. But
I mean, they've already gotten players into those positions.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of even Stevens at the minute. 7 Blupo, obviously they made a decent amount of money selling Lepinitsa to Azerbaijan.
And then they brought in his brother.
Yeah, exactly.
His twin brother.
Yeah, we just needed the name at the club. We needed hopefully same amount of yellow cards. We'll like that. Otherwise, I mean, again, it's a very them transfer window, isn't it? Obviously, Benik Miłosz has gone to Poland. To a club whose name I'm not going to pronounce. Mich.
Yeah, I think it's like Miej, Legnica or Mij. Yeah.
So I mean, again, I'm surprised you're even watching the league this season with him and Postonski gone. Really, it's just Hajduk you watch.
We just like watching bald men play in the Heinel.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why Hajduk is just signing mid-30s and up.
But they're not. But they're not bald. That's the problem.
Yeah, they've all had the hair implants. And otherwise, they've signed just a bunch of people. I think Leskovic is really the only person. Leskovic and Kubelic are really the only players people will know.
Yeah, Leskovic, obviously. I don't think anybody that follows the Heinel doesn't know him. 33 now, obviously on the tail end of his career. Chubalic, just a standard Slaven pickup. You pick up some youngster whose contract expired with a big club because he obviously didn't cut it at Hajduk, at Dinamo, or at Rijeka. So we'll see how he does.
Yeah. And then it's just leave Šibenik, who
have done some business.
Yeah. I don't mind their business. Lucas Falcao.
I think it's better than Ruders's. At this point, it was last season, which it doesn't say a lot. It doesn't say a lot, but at this point, I'm just hoping for it to be somewhat close for the relegation battle.
Yeah, I mean, currently at most we're predicting that they, they win before March. From what they have, I mean, I say Luca Falcao, I quite like. Just in terms of the profile, you sort of look at the profile that Čolak had before coming to Rijeka, and while he obviously did score more prolifically and have a bit of a higher development, his actual sort of regional Liga record isn't that different to what Falcao's is. So that's promising. The regional league is one of those where there's so many clubs. There's a bit of a variance in what you're going to get. It is a little bit of a mystery box. And the fact that they've then brought in extra strikers on top of that maybe suggests towards the lower end of that mystery box. But yeah, I mean, their aim is to be better than Ruders were, which isn't a very difficult thing for them to do.
They haven't lost any players. Asmankovic was obviously still at the club. Pavicic has left for Vukovar, and Stipe Bacilic Grgic retired and is now doing some role which I forgot at Šibenik.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they don't, they've not got a very high bar to overcome in Rudez. In terms of their last season at this level, I don't think they've got a massively high bar to beat either. As long as they don't draw the first 8 games again, they'll probably be reasonably okay. And I think obviously for reasons we've mentioned, Goritz, you were probably looking between those two.
Maybe even Slaven, I think you can add.
I mean, I think Slaven probably said the past 3 seasons that they've looked.
Yeah, and then they just do an okay season again and again.
Yeah, so maybe they'll be 8th. Maybe they'll be 7th. I mean, I think Istra are out of that. But I mean, we're into season preview point at that point, and I mean,
we gotta save something for next week.
Yeah,
we gotta save something for next week.
Yeah, exactly. We've got second legs to talk about as well.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't really have second legs to talk about. Hopefully it's just 3 convincing wins.
Yeah. And we just speak about how good everybody is.
They're all through. Dino are going to win the title. See you in 25.
That's the season preview, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Do we need to speak more? No, we don't.
No.
But I mean, should we add something on Santini going back to the HNL? Because I mean, it's the biggest move they've done so far, Šibenik.
I mean, no.
I mean, let me check how he's done. Because obviously, I remember him. Obviously, everybody remembers Santini in the national team a few years back when we obviously had that crisis of striker after Mandzukic retired. So we were like, "Oh, Santini's the guy for the job." No,
he played 32 times for Zurich and scored 0.
Yeah, he scored 3 goals in the cup in 3 games. 0 goals in the league, but that's
headline that. They're annoying.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they don't. Oh, Richard's gone again. All right. But yeah, Santini. Oh,
sorry. Maybe it's going to be another Duya Chop situation.
Could be, but obviously Santini was in with Osijek a few years back, but like 3 years ago.
That was his Duya Chop chance.
We'll see. I mean, how old is Chop now? 34, 33?
33. Off the top of my head.
34. Yeah, so he's a year older, so we'll see how he does.
Yeah, probably not great.
Probably not, but we'll see. Maybe Šibenik can surprise us and actually be good and actually give us a good fight.
Yeah,
for the relegation.
We shall see.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the playoff is back this season for the promotion/relegation.
Well, I mean, have they actually decided that?
I think they
decided
did
it for last season, didn't they? And then they got rid of it about a week before. So
yeah, I think it isn't for this season. I'm pretty sure. Because nobody reported on it, but I remember seeing something.
It's too early to report on it. The proper rule changes only happen within 7 days of the season starting.
Yeah.
SofaScore do not have it on their standings.
Yeah, so maybe it's not. So maybe I was lied to. I think I read something along the lines of that, but God knows at this point.
We will have it ready for next week.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, because this is. I mean, obviously, there's been technical issues from my end, which I apologize for. This has been a teething one. There's been teething problems, shall we say? And we'll be back to full.
Charge your Bluetooth headphones.
They're charged. It's just not picking it up.
Oh,
it wouldn't even let me unconnect them. Hence why I'm on.
So they just didn't work.
They just intermittently worked, and then they just decided to stop completely. So they
Yeah.
are charging
Okay.
at the minute, but we'll see what happens there.
So
But
hopefully
yeah,
in a week's time they actually sort themselves out.
hopefully in a week's time we'll actually kind of look professional, or I'll
Yeah.
just be on old headset
Yeah.
again, which I
Okay.
don't like being.
Yeah. One more question. What do you think about the kits that have been released so far?
A lot of people don't like that Rijeka away kit. I do.
Actually, let me pull it up. Let me pull up the kits because we can share our screen. So
It's it's the shark. I mean, see, they're very sharky. Rijeka.
All right. So here we are. So this one.
Yes.
This is the kit.
But I really like it because it is just because if you also bring up alongside it the original
Jaws,
for Jaws, it's that. Yeah.
Yeah. It quite literally is. I can't pull it up because I can only share this screen. So
yeah.
But if you just look at it, it is Jaws. But like I just look at that, I'm like, what? Why? And I think the votes say a lot.
Rijeka fans are never happy with their strip. They are.
mean, some fans were happy with last year's skits.
I mean, I think maybe this whole shark-based rebrand that they've gone on. I think maybe that is just. I think maybe that's what people don't really
and
like.
what about the home kit, which also has 1, 2, 3? It has a few sharks.
I'd like it less than the last year's with sort of like the sharks all over it. I mean, I've said this on social media, but I'm a fan of stuff on shirts. You know,
stuff
rather than just stuff like just having random graphics, like Istra having the goat.
Yeah,
when they had the Colosseum on the back, love it.
Yeah, speaking of Istra, okay, this is a very low quality image. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's not as distinctive. There's so many kits out there which just look like you've taken your template from your kit supplier and just be like, yeah, we'll go with the blue one.
Yeah.
The
away one has the what is it? The old whatever, I forgot the name.
Wall.
The old Kajuns. The old Kajuns, actually. It's like an old Istrian building.
It's a
house. Small house. Okay, it's a okay.
It's a wall. It's some bricks.
Okay, Pink Floyd.
All right.
Osijek, obviously the newest. Actually, not the newest. God, it's the newest, but like that. They haven't had. Yeah, I think it's a bit
backgammon-y.
It's not keen on the eye, is it?
No. It's like just be
the away one. The away one is the same one as last year, so not much to add. Osijek's third kit, I really don't know.
See, that's a template.
That is a template. I'm just like, what's going on with the badge? Like,
yeah,
it does. I mean, it doesn't look good, and 3 votes resemble that.
Yeah.
Hajduks, which I mean,
it's white
standard. The away one, it's somewhat liked.
It's Maribor have the same sort of slashy things.
Yeah.
Which looks better in purple and gold than it does in red and blue.
Blue, yeah. And the third one, obviously inspired by the Dalmatian dog. Yeah, the Dalmatian dog breed.
It's quite similar to. I mean, they had a few seasons ago where they had that effect all over, and it looked like a broken TV screen. Which I preferred that effect to having it broken up by the arms.
Oh, okay. And Dinamovic, I mean,
it's blue.
It's blue.
I mean, I think we should say immediately it's Castor, which should be just red flag.
Yeah, it's gonna be sticking to the players when they sweat a lot, which footballers do a lot.
if the badge stays on. I'm sure. I can't remember who it was. So yesterday, it was a Castore side, and it was like the first pre-season game they had, and you could already see the badge had fallen off.
Imagine if just every single time Dynamo played, just one or two badges fall off the kit for two or three players.
Maybe just lose a couple of stars every now and then.
Thoughts on the away kit, on the yellow neon, whatever this is.
No. I mean,
I don't like
horrible,
it. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
It's not distinctive.
Oh,
is it?
Yeah, and this is the goalkeeper kit, which I mean, who cares about the goalkeeper kit?
Goalkeepers.
I mean, yeah, fair enough, but I mean, Gorica has also released the kit, but everybody else is either gonna keep their kits.
Will immediately say I did not like about that Gorica kit, and I couldn't find it when I was looking for it because I wanted to mock it.
Okay, let me pull it up.
It's let me just see if I can find it, because they didn't put it up on Twitter. I think it's just on Instagram, but it might have just been on the stories. On the back of it, just above the name, they have.
Together, they have
everybody achieves more.
Yeah, like, lads, you're a Croatian club. Please, like, just use the language.
Well,
please.
One, yeah, use the language. It's not your language, guys.
Yeah.
Don't appropriate my culture. But two, team. That is some high performance podcast BS. We're not. This is the Croatian Footy podcast. This is not. I am not Jake Humphrey. Jake Humphrey's sound works.
Yeah. So share screen. Let me find it. Here it is.
Together, everybody achieves more. Together, everybody has less respect.
Yeah, it's not. Even I mean, I'm very their kid from 2022. No, not 2020, 2021, I think, or 2020. This is a nice kid because it had. I mean, you can see it. Down here, it has the outline of the city, and it's done by names, which I think is of the fans, hopefully.
Yeah,
but it's a nice kit. But
this FCG on all over the arms as well, in different sized fonts.
Oh, you're talking about that one?
The new one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Which is I mean, my day job is like proofreading. So
yeah, it's just everywhere on the kit too. Yeah, it's everywhere on the. It's actually not everywhere. I think it's just on the sleeves, by the looks of it. Yeah, it's just on the sleeves.
On the sleeves, but yeah, I mean,
too much.
And the trim of the shorts as well.
The trim of the shorts?
Yeah, at the bottom of the shorts, it's got FCG.
Oh, FCG, yeah, it does, yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
And I'm also not a fan of Kummerling, the sponsor, which, I mean, just takes up a lot of space, and the colors do not collide with Gorica's kits. And I'm also surprised that they went with the white kit to be the home one.
I mean, anyone watching this is probably going like, who the hell are these guys to be talking about fashion?
We're not.
He's wearing an old Gorica kit. I mean, I'm just wearing white, but I'm wearing a Final Fantasy t-shirt.
That's fashion.
That it is, yeah. I mean, it's Uniqlo. I was at the zoo with the kids today, and I got to the gift shop, to the checkout, and the guy was the most typical you don't come out of your bedroom very much person you'll ever see. And he was like, I own that top too. I'm like, I'm not wearing this top again. which excuses the fact that while cooking I did accidentally spill passata all over it. So
yeah, that I think that's
I've ruined it already.
I think that's it for the shirt.
That's it for the shirt. I think that's it for tonight.
Yeah, that's it for today.
That is solid segue.
Solid segue. But yeah, next week we'll see what we can. probably I think same time Tuesday or Wednesday maybe
Yeah.
to record. We'll see, but I mean, we'll do the preview. We'll actually go in depth, do our predictions, see who's gonna be the stupidest of us two. And
Well, are you predicting anyone other than Dynamo first? Right.
no.
Well, then we're still undecided as to who the stupidest is. Then. Cool.
It's gonna be decided by where we place Hajduk and where we place Šibenik, I think.
I think it'll be decided by where we place Istra.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh,
I think
yeah.
they're. It's how you order the mid.
Yeah, I mean that's always tough. From ninth, actually from 8th to 4th, 5th actually. Sorry, that's always very tough to predict.
You've got a bunch of 4 people. It's 8th to 4th.
Yeah. So you're adding. So who are we dropping? Rijeka, Osijek, or Hajduk to be into that mix?
The retirement home.
You do not like Hajduk.
I've got to get a rise out of you somehow.
Fair enough. listen, heading into the season, I'm a pessimist. I'm not even thinking about Ružomberok. I'm thinking about, are we gonna get past Torshavn? Are we are we actually getting Rakitic is very good. Like, I'm happy. I can have a kid with Rakitic on the back of it, but that's the only positive thing for me so far. And Gattuso obviously is a big positive, but we'll see. I'm not that hopeful. Last season drained me to the biggest depths of hell.
There was a Faroese side in the groups last time, so
True, Klaksvik. Yeah,
it's where it's happening. They did get them 4-1 tonight, though. So
yeah, maybe not again.
Maybe not again. No.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're not Velez, who got absolutely destroyed by an Andorran club.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, a fan of Velez said, "Just call them Inter, so people will think that we actually got destroyed by Inter Milan."
Yeah, I mean, they beat Hibs last season, Inter Club d'Escalade, I think, in Andorra, 2-1. But I think
but they didn't beat them 5-0.
They didn't beat them 5-1, 5-1.
Oh, 5-1. Sorry, I forgot they scored.
But I'm sure I read that this was the first time an Andorran club had scored 3 in a single game in Europe, and they scored 5.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think their like president stole like $1 billion. I think I saw from the sweeper pod. That's
yes. That's is that yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was their president.
There's someone, I can't remember which club it was.
I think it is the Andorran club, because they did mention that they also went through.
Yeah.
So yeah, their president is. I mean, he has money. Now, how he got it, we're not gonna get into that, but he has money. Yeah,
more Andorran money than PK.
But yeah, should we end it there? We have gone on a bit of a tangent about
Velez
and Inter. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and hopefully next time, this week, every single club of Osijek, Rijeka, and Hajduk have won their games. And hopefully we're not talking about, this club has absolutely shot the bed. And hopefully it's not Hajduk, because I will be going on a super rant. Just like you did for Scotland.
Yes. Yeah, that was catharsis.
So yeah, thank you for listening for this hour and almost just under 20 minutes. So we'll see you next week, and as I said, hopefully every single one of our teams wins and we do not have Axira on our hands. Hopefully. Bye.
Bye.